In the American suburbs, a mute girl suddenly speaks, claiming to have seen the Virgin Mary. Soon after, she frequently displays miracles. A boy with muscle atrophy recovers instantly, and a terminally ill priest with lung cancer heals through prayer alone. Yet, a deadly crisis lurks behind all of this. Jerry was once a star reporter for The Observer, but he was despised by the industry for fabricating fake news. Seeking a sensational story, he arrives in a remote small town. He comes to a rural farm. The farmer says that overnight, a symbol appeared on his cow's rear end, very likely the work of a satanic cult. Jerry feels utterly exasperated. Forget whether Satan would be so idle. Just looking at the symbol, it's clearly the logo of a British rock band. Considering the farmer has a high school-age son, this must be his handiwork. Jerry intended to leave, but suddenly heard low chanting behind him. Turning around, he saw a crow perched in a tree. He slowly approached and found a porcelain doll inside a tree hollow. This is a local talisman meant to ensure a prosperous year with favorable weather. However, it has two peculiarities. 1, the porcelain doll is wrapped in chains. 2, the nameplate is engraved with a non-existent date, February 31st, 1845. Seeing this, Jerry hatched a plan. He stomped the porcelain doll to pieces, publicly declaring it was a voodoo doll. Now that it was destroyed, the locals would have to hold a cattle ritual to reseal the evil. That night, driving home, a woman in white suddenly appeared before him in the blink of an eye. Jerry swerved sharply and crashed into a tree. Fortunately, he's unharmed. Getting out of the car, he saw the woman walking deeper into the woods. Following her, he ended up back at the same tree from earlier that day. The woman in white knelt on the ground, murmuring something. Then, when Jerry lightly touched her, she collapsed and didn't move. The girl's name is Alice. She was orphaned young and raised by the priest. Though deaf and mute, she has a kind heart. Jerry was confused. This girl had clearly spoken under the tree moments ago. How could she be deaf and mute?
She was talking.
It's not possible. Alice has never spoken a word in her life.
To uncover the truth, Jerry decided to stay in the town a few more days. His curiosity soon led him to a major story. That day, as people prayed in the church as usual, Alice suddenly interrupted the priest and walked straight outside. The crowd followed her to the tree. To everyone's shock, she spoke, saying she had seen Mary. Holy moly, it was a divine apparition. Even a mute could speak. The news quickly spread through the town. People flocked to witness the spectacle, and some disabled individuals saw it as their last hope. Father Hagen initially wanted to protect his daughter and give her time to calm down. Unexpectedly, Alice came out willingly. After a brief exchange with Mary within the tree, she walked up to a boy. "Do you believe in Mary?" The boy nodded. So Alice told him, "You can leave the wheelchair now. Mary says you were never sick." Encouraged by God, the boy finally threw off his blanket. He succeeded. Everyone knelt in prayer. All doubt vanished. Yet, at that very moment, in the empty church, the statue of the Virgin Mary shed two trails of blood-like tears. Jerry, after all, was once a famous reporter. He quickly propelled the news to trending status, even drawing the Vatican to send a bishop for investigation. Proving a miracle follows strict procedures. First, the healing must be instantaneous, not gradual. Second, the illness must be an incurable terminal disease by modern medicine. Though the conditions were stringent, as the priest finished speaking, Alice confidently stepped forward. Reporters swarmed her, yet their questions were full of skepticism. Only Jerry cut to the core of the matter. According to Alice's description, Mary was benevolent. All she sought was people's faith. Jerry's outstanding performance quickly earned the approval of the church leaders. Combined with Alice only being willing to answer his questions, Jerry secured the exclusive rights to document this miracle. Setting up the camera, Jerry's first interview with the divine messenger began. Mary lived up to her reputation. She immediately saw Jerry's predicament. As a reporter, he had lost his credibility, which was fatal. Yet she encouraged Jerry, promising that by properly promoting her deeds, he could regain his peak. Mutual benefit was possible even between the divine and man. Just then, Father Hagen entered the room and halted the interview. Though terminally ill with late-stage lung cancer, his mind remained sharp. Martin Luther once said, "Whenever God erects a house of prayer, the devil builds a chapel there." The line between heaven and hell has always been blurred. While the higher-ups in the church desired more holy sites, only he, as an insider, knew that those touched by miracles never ended well. Of course, for now, things still seemed to progress positively. Alice not only spoke, but sang hymns with astonishing beauty. As everyone was enraptured, Father Hagen suddenly had a severe coughing fit, struggling for breath. Finally, Alice intervened.
Do you believe in Mary? Do you have faith in her?
Do you pledge to serve her with all your heart and soul?
Yes.
Afterwards, Father Hagen went to the hospital for a checkup. His lung cancer was gone, healed without treatment. With miracles occurring one after another, the church finally acknowledged the authenticity of the divine event. Alice transformed from an overlooked deaf-mute into a sought-after saint. People converged from all over the world, yet some locals were preparing to move away instead. This town was founded in the early 19th century. It was named Banfield precisely because strange things had always happened there. Now, even though the church deemed it a miracle, God should remain in heaven. Descending to earth would inevitably attract the devil. That day, Jerry's former boss actually called. She pleaded for Jerry to return to the newspaper, even creating a new department specifically for him. Everyone was celebrating. Only Father Hagen remained vigilant. One day, he discovered a hidden compartment in the church wall. Opening the dusty notebook inside, he was instantly stunned by its contents. He had no idea that his every move was already being watched. At the hotel, Jerry ran into Natalie, an acquaintance from town. During their casual chat, they mentioned the porcelain doll he had smashed. Natalie said in such cases, the porcelain doll was likely used to imprison an evil spirit. As for the date on the chained nameplate, it was also to seal the demon because it could never escape through a date that didn't exist. At first, Jerry paid little attention to these rural legends. But when they walked to the riverbank, he finally witnessed the true form of the demon for the first time. This incident made Jerry realize that Alice's divine mission might not be simple. Very soon, Father Hagen used his own life to verify the true identity of Mary Elnor. Inside the confessional booth, a strange woman warned him not to act clever. Believing in Mary would grant him new life and cure his lung cancer. If he didn't believe, she would also strip the flesh from his bones. Hearing this, Father Hagen understood instantly. Mary was no deity. But by then, it was too late for him to escape. Jerry discovered Father Hagen's body and reported it to the church immediately. For clergy, suicide is unforgivable. So to protect the church's reputation and ensure Father Hagen wouldn't be questioned, they decided not to inform the public. However, Jerry still sought out Alice. He suspected a demon lurked behind this event, but Alice was already utterly convinced by Mary.
Mary would never let that happen. Don't doubt her, Mr. Fenn. She is the Blessed Virgin, the Mother of God. Her love for us is so deep it burns.
Mid-conversation, Alice suddenly smiled. She had heard Mary's gospel again. Back at the hotel, Jerry reviewed the footage. As Alice spoke, the mysterious presence, seemingly afraid she might slip up, actually appeared. To uncover the truth, Jerry and Natalie secretly broke into the church archives. It turned out that as early as 1845, Banfield had witnessed a so-called divine vessel. Just like Alice, she could also cure illnesses and claimed a connection to the Virgin Mary. But if you showed even the slightest doubt, this girl could make you wish you were dead. Later, the townspeople fought back, captured the girl, and under their interrogation, she finally admitted she served Satan. To eradicate the evil, people nailed a Virgin Mary mask onto her face. Then they lit a great fire, burning her body to ashes, imprisoning both the ashes and her soul within a porcelain doll. And more coincidentally, she was also called Mary, full name Mary Elnor. Of course, Mary's resurrection wouldn't be easy. First, she needed to deceive people into faith. Then she required a direct bloodline descendant to complete her rebirth. By now, you've probably guessed, that direct descendant is Alice. Meanwhile, back at the church, Alice was delivering a holy decree from the Virgin. She demanded all believers gather beneath that great tree in 3 days to receive baptism. The crowd below cheered wildly, while Jerry and Natalie suffered a deadly attack from the demon. However, they were fortunate and blessed, managing to escape at the very last moment. But Jerry knew good luck wouldn't hold forever. The urgent task was to destroy this false Virgin Mary. After hearing his report, the two officials sent by the church disagreed. Delgard, overflowing with righteous fury, wanted to confront the blasphemer immediately. Giles, considering the bigger picture, thought it was merely Jerry's word against theirs, and besides, this was prime time for church publicity. They couldn't damage their reputation. Delgard, Jerry, and Natalie tried to perform a ritual in the church to stop it. Delgard held the Bible, but the ink melted. He lit the holy flame, but Mary blew it out. He persisted, and the next moment, the cross burst into flames. Finally, he was killed by his own faith. At that moment, nearby statues of Jesus and the Virgin shed blood like tears. Jerry decided to disrupt the gathering himself. With so many believers and live streams, if they were harvested, the false might truly become real. But Jerry's clarity earned him only scorn from the crowd. Everyone was bewitched, except Alice herself, who began to waver. As the vessel, realizing Mary's true nature, she confirmed to the believers that these miracles were not from God. Betrayed at the crucial moment, Mary was furious.
Finish the prayer. They must pledge their souls to me, or you will never speak again.
Mr. Fenn is telling the truth. Mary's not real.
She burned all the crosses on the spot. She shed her disguise, deciding to forcibly harvest these souls through violence. The surrounding crowd fled in panic. Those who had been cured saw their old illnesses return.
I can't move my legs!
Mary removed the iron mask, revealing a horrifying face. She burned Giles to death first, then tried to kill Jerry. But Alice sacrificed herself to save Jerry. This stunned Mary too, because Alice was her tether to the real world. Without Alice, her resurrection became impossible. Then she vanished. The crisis was averted, but Jerry was heartbroken. Deeply moved by Alice's sacrifice, he pleaded with God to save her life. She came back to life, but became deaf and mute again. The town returned to peace. Jerry also lost his job, but he wasn't disheartened. He had regained the most important thing for a media person, his conscience. But at the very end of the movie, when everyone let their guard down, the Virgin statue once again shed blood-like tears. Clearly, a new evil spirit was poised to descend once more, for the devil and God are always close behind each other.